Welcome back to Harmonix Tuning. So today behind me is a 2021 A45S AMG that is predominantly stock other than the fact that it runs an Akrapovic exhaust. So today we are going to be working on this car and it has a few teething issues which we are going to bring to you guys and show how we can solve these issues as well. So coincidentally, the car also seems to be throwing a check engine light on this. So we're going to investigate further and see what is going to happen. So we're going to put the car on the lift. We're going to disable the Haldex connector so we can put the car on the dyno. And we'll also showcase to you what is the issue going on the car right now. So the fascinating thing about the A45S is, similar to the Audi Volkswagen group of MQB cars, this particular drivetrain is based on the Haldex platform. So we can actually dyno these cars in front wheel drive mode by just unplugging the Haldex controller like we would on the Audi TT as well. So now I'm going to disconnect both the Haldex controllers and then we can run the car in front wheel drive mode and see what power it makes. As you can see, there is a check engine light on the screen when the engine is idling, and a quick scan reveals two underlying issues on the car. So one is the turbocharger underboost condition. A turbocharger underboost condition can happen for two reasons. Either the wastegate flapper is not binding correctly against the turbo and thus leaking boost, or there is a boost leak in one of the intercooler or the heat exchanger pipes. The second issue seems to be a catalyst system efficiency below threshold. This we assume is because of the catalytic converter being clogged and hence throwing up this issue. Also, during our discussions with the owner, we realized that he had been using an octane booster which has basically MMT in it. Our sincere suggestion to all our readers is, if an octane booster has MMT in it, kindly do not use such octane boosters, because what these lead to is something called as an orange deposit. So somewhere in the screen we'll be putting up some pictures of what this particular octane booster did to the spark plugs, the O2 sensors and the catalytic converter as well. And because of the orange deposits depositing themselves all over the catalytic converter, we have a catalytic system efficiency below threshold error as well. So the good thing is, this is one of the first A45S AMGs that is going to be tuned from the newer batch of cars. So today we'll also be opening the ECU and checking if this ECU is tunable or not. And once it is tunable, we are going to be replacing the stock catalytic converter with an aftermarket downpipe, and then we are going to be doing a full stage 2 build on this particular A45S. So now we are going to be strapping the car on the dyno, and we are basically going to dyno the car again. So we've had this car on the dyno before, and today with all these issues on the car, we are going to be re-dynoing the car and seeing if actually these issues are causing any power and torque loss on the car. So let's dyno the car and see what it does, and then we'll get back to you guys on what we think is happening with it. So putting these AMGs into dyno mode is actually very simple. First you hold this back button and the center button for a couple of seconds, and then you release them and press the home button. So then you scroll all the way until it shows workshop. So once that is done, you scroll down to the dynamometer test. And that's it. That's how you put these cars in dyno mode. So now let's dyno the car and see what it does. So we finished dyno testing the car, and clearly there seems to be an issue with the car. The car is losing about 30 horsepower and about 50 Newton meters of torque. In order to fix the issue, we first need to understand if the ECU is tunable, and that is what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be pulling out this ECU and check if we can tune it via OBD and bench as well. So we finished taking a bench backup of the ECU of the stock file. So now we are going to put the ECU back into the car, and then we are going to try to see if we can flash via OBD. A bench backup is just a precautionary measure, so in case the OBD fails, we have a backup which we can flash and recover the ECU back to working space. It is in their infinite wisdom to make life really difficult for tuners like us. Basically put some VMAX and torque limiters in a module called as the CPC module. So usually a lot of these torque limiters and VMAX limiters are usually in the engine control module, which we also call as ECU, or on the gearbox, which is the TCU. However, these Mercedes cars have a third module called the CPC module, which have inherent limiters which will prevent us from tuning and getting maximal potential out of the cars. So here what we have done is we have removed all of these panels to get access to this, and now we are going to be swapping this with a modded Wistek CPC module, which will remove all the inherent limiters and allow us to get maximum performance from this build. We seem to have fixed the check engine light issue for now. Now that we know that the ECU and the TCU on this particular car are tunable, we are going to start ordering the ECU cable, the gearbox cable, a downpipe and intake, and very soon we are going to be noticing a part 2 on this particular build, and our aim is to basically make it the fastest A45S in India.